Hello everybody, welcome to my review of the movie Belfast. Just got back from seeing it. It was a pretty good one. I'll give this one a good rating. I do my normal thing, give you a little plot synopsis as best as I can. Again, trying to go scene by scene, but obviously I can't remember the movies exactly. Talk about any major themes or takeaways, and any other interesting things I might have to say. So the setting for this one, this is Belfast, Northern Ireland. I'm a Yankee, so I had to look it up. But the difference, just for a quick history, the difference between the United Kingdom is made up of England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. And Belfast is the capital of Northern Ireland. And Great Britain is the official collective name of England, Scotland, and Wales. So this would be the UK and not Great Britain. But specifically Northern Ireland, I don't know, something I didn't know. 1969, starts off, I think it's August 15th, 1969. The genre and rating is drama, PG-13, I thought was true. And the synopsis on here, like the official synopsis of the movie, says, a semi-autobiographical film which chronicles the life of a working-class family and their young sons during childhood during the tumult of the late 1960s in the Northern Ireland capital. So the movie starts off, you get, again, the date right on the screen, and then a wee lad, Buddy, the family, the whole movie is about a family. I would say Buddy's even the most relevant character, but all of the family is relevant. You have Pa and Ma, just the mom and dad, Pop and grandparents. I'm pretty sure is Pa's, and I think it's his mother, his parents, played by Jamie Dornan. That's Pa, Catriona Balfe. Again, I'm not great with Gaelic. I don't know how do you say Belfast, Belfastshire maybe. But I think it's the Pa's parents that like live with them. Buddy and Will are the two brothers. Buddy's got to be young. He's got to be 8 or 9 years old. Will's probably young teens, maybe 13 to 16. You have Moira, who's another she's probably closer to Buddy's age, but she kind of like runs around with Will a little bit, just doing mischief type of stuff. And then you have the minister. He has a couple relevant scenes in the movie, but get back to the cast. Again, just looking at the characters, going off anything I see. And there's also Catherine, Buddy's little crush mate, and anyone else I see, but those are the major ones. The movie starts off, they're kicking soccer ball around, they're just playing around, and normal kid stuff, busy street life, not street life like gang stuff, but just like a hustling and bustling street around the neighborhood. And then rather quickly off the bat, there's clearly some car bombs, some Irish car bombs. I like nice Irish car bombs and looting and Molotov cocktails. And basically there's a big attack, destruction of the city. And it's the Protestant neighborhood. Obviously, I would say I'm pretty sure Irish Catholic. That seems to be a lot of immigrants in America are Irish Catholics. But I don't think I'm Irish at all. My dad's probably Polish and Hungarian. Mom, maiden name's Von Lohr, so I'm guessing that's Germany. Pretty standard guess there. So I don't think I'm really Irish much. Maybe some for my mom's side, I just don't know. But it's the Protestant. It's pretty much a gang but they're associating as Protestants and they're attacking the Catholic homes on the street. And so the army comes in and basically sets up, just to keep the peace of the riot. And so that's really kind of the theme throughout the entire movie is just Protestants versus Catholics, and should we leave? Should we take our family to another place to have a better life, have a safer life? But really, the whole thing throughout the movie is just pretty much really normal, just day-to-day activities. So the mob pulls both Buddy and Will off of the street, and they're debating. Pa is going back and forth. He works in England. He comes back every 1 or 2 weeks. During the original riot, that's when you meet him first. He comes back immediately. He's trying to meet up with Ma and Buddy and Will. and then he's not really being allowed to let go past the guards. And so, really day-to-day life, and I'm not sure what scene comes next, and blah, blah, blah. But just some scenes throughout. Pretty early on, Buddy and Will watch The Minister. He's just, again, I'm assuming a Protestant preacher. And they reference the stick and a fork in it, says the road, right? A fork in the road, stick a fork in it. That's some sort of logical saying, connection. But you get a scene of the minister, you go down this path, and you'll go to the righteousness, or you go burn in hell type of deal. And so, there also this movie is black and white, so if that throws you, this would not be a movie for you, but that doesn't bother me at all. So you have a couple scenes with the minister. You have Buddy going to school. There's a scene where Buddy's like, he's really crushing on the Catherine girl in his class, and in their class they have they do their math. There's no maths. Math is not plural. I'm not asking anybody on that one, but they're doing math tests, and the teacher lets the highest score sit closest to the teacher, and Buddy's trying to sit. It's literally rows of 2 people. So Buddy wants to sit, right across from Catherine to obviously hit on the cute girls. And so Pa, the granddad, grandpop, I don't know what's the right English or Irish term, pop. He was he's telling Buddy to write his numbers indiscriminately. A 1 could look like a 7, and a 2 could look like a 6 or something. And so it kind of works because Buddy in the class is 3rd, Catherine's 1, and he wants to be 2 to sit next to Catherine. Goes into his math test, takes his math test, and he becomes the number 1. So he switches seats with Catherine when he wanted to sit right next to her. So that plan kind of backfired. After the initial riots, the riot scene at the very beginning, so I'm not exactly sure. I think looking at the character of the cast, I think Billy Clanton is the one who's the main gang leader for the Protestants. Remember, again, it's not like a gang movie, it's just the presence of the turmoil, the tumult of Northern Ireland. But I think that's who it is. But remember, it's a Protestant family, and the Protestant group is trying to kind of eradicate the Catholics, but the family's not really participating in anything. They're just trying to stay safe and have a family life. So Pa gets pressured throughout the movie, by Billy Clanton. You're either going to participate with us to help us, get the Catholics out, or you're going to pay us money. And he's really not doing either. Basically says, touch my family, I kill you. They go to the movies. Again, this is 1969. Buddy has a project to work on the space landing. Ends up working with Catherine. They go to the movies a couple times. Ironically, the only colored scenes in this fucking movie are when they're watching a movie in the movie. So I thought that was kind of interesting. But what movies did they watch? I don't know. The first one they went to, Ma's oh, I see why we went to this one, Pa, and it's just a bunch of hot chicks running around in tribal outfits or something, and Buddy and Will are having a good time. But also, Pa and Ma throughout the movie clearly they're debt. They have a lot of debt, and so Pa's really trying to pay off the debt. He works in London. He's not really there the whole time. There's a scene where he's pretty in a wholesome way, telling Ma that she raised the family, and he's proud of her, and thank you for stuff like that. I thought the family dynamic throughout the whole thing was fun. I thought the Gran and Pop's relationship was fantastic. At their house in Belfast, they have one toilet inside, one toilet outside. So there's a couple scenes of people sitting on the toilet. I don't think they're using the toilet, but they're just sitting outside talking. Maybe they're using the toilet. I don't know. But there's some mischief. Moira, again, who's closer to Will's age, about the young teen years, and Buddy, who's again got to be 8, 6, probably older than probably 7 to 9 years old. Moira says she's in a gang. Remember, Buddy likes Catherine from school, who turns out to be a Catholic and doesn't really play a big role in the movie, but it's kind of at the end, and Pa's anyone who's kind and nice can stay in our home anytime. But Buddy and Moira get into some mischief. They go rob a they go into just a convenience store, ask the store owner for something, and the thing that they ask him for is like on the ground or behind him. He has to turn around or bend over and pick it up. And when he does that, Buddy's supposed to grab as many like chocolate bars or something as he can. So they do that. He only gets one. I forget what it was. He got like a truffle that no one wanted or something. But one of the people they were with gets caught, and there's maybe like one or two other people. Because Moira says she's in a gang. Turns out to be the same gang as the Billy Clanton, the Protestant gang. Police come to the house. Ma's livid at Buddy, and basically, gets intimidated by the police officer. I mean, super petty theft. What else is going on? And so Ma and Pa are really arguing about debt. There's a scene where she starts throwing plates at them and just saying, like, basically she writes a letter to, they think they've paid off all of their debt, and Ma wants a letter from the tax service to say they're for sure debt free. And then they get a letter back, or Pa comes back one of the days and gives her a letter, and it's basically saying that the IRS, not the IRS, whoever the tax service is going to look into further back taxes to see if they owe any more, and it ends up being like a net negative for the letter Ma wrote. And right about this time in the movie, Pa gets an offer from wherever he's working in London for a full-time job, and at this time Northern Ireland has like the highest unemployment rate, the highest cholesterol. I mean, they don't see it as a great place to. Pa doesn't see it as a great place to stay. Pa wants to leave. Ma's really on the fence at the beginning. There's another scene where they're playing, and there's another Irish family, and they say she's leaving, which kind of makes you think like Ma's also kind of getting on board to leave Belfast. Also, about this time at the movie, Pop basically gets, I think he was a coal miner, either lung cancer or just some severe disease of the lungs. And so they take him into the hospital, and he's there for about, 20-30 minutes of the movie. Then, again, just more back and forth, just general family scenes. Pop ends up dying, and they have a big celebration, a big banquet. There's dancing and singing. The minister presides over the service again in this one. He had a nice little saying in there. There's a couple other sayings in this movie. Pa always tells Buddy, if you can't do good, do good. If you can't do good, if you can't be good, be careful. There's another saying that says, the Grand says quite a bit, and Pa uses it once. What's yours is mine, and what's mine is my own. I thought that was pretty funny. But Pop dies. Minister gives a sermon. They have a celebration, and Ma and Pa. I'm not sure if Pop has died at this point, but Pa and Ma sit Buddy down and Will down, just introduce the idea of moving to England or London. And Ma's now moving. She's more close. She's on board. Her and the dad want to go to England. So they sit down, Buddy, just to kind of test out the waters, because again he's a young kid and he just doesn't want anything to do with it, because again his friends are here, his life is here, stuff like that. There's another scene of more mischief. Well, because Buddy didn't tell the police about the stealing of the chocolate bar, Moira now scoops him up one day and says, I think pretty much after they went to one of the movies, they also saw Chitty Chitty Bang Bang in the film, and Buddy gets picked up by Moira and is like, you're with us now, and we're going to go do something. And it's the Billy Clanton Protestant gang, and they basically just ram a street light into another grocery store, convenience store, whole hardware store. But Buddy doesn't want anything to do with it. He's like, let me go. And she's like, no, you're with us. Buddy takes I think it was it's biological detergent or something, but literally laundry detergent to do your dishes. And comes home, and Ma's absolutely fucking livid again. Literally grabs Moira and Buddy, takes her back to the building that's getting looted by 50 to 60 people. And it's trying to make him put the detergent back, and to which point Billy Clanton is directly there and basically threatens Ma, says, we don't put things back, we take them or something. There's a couple other scenes where Pa and Billy Clanton basically just, man to man. Pa calls Billy a gangbanger that called himself Protestant or something, and stay away from his family again. But at the point of the looting scene is, Billy has clearly seen Ma and clearly seen which side she's on, and Billy's told Pa, if you're not with us, you're against us type of deal. So Billy literally takes hostage, and there's one other main gangbanger type influence guy, and literally has a gun. He takes Buddy and Ma and the Moira right out into the street, and then Pa and Will, who's again Will's in the movie, but it's definitely more Buddy, the younger son, is more relevant on screen time. But it's not really clear to me what exactly happened, because there are also the soldiers that are there to keep the peace of the whole thing. They're all gunned up, ready to go, and so Billy goes to clear his gun, and Will throws Pa something, and I'm not sure if Pa throws it at Billy and hits his hand, or if it's Ma pushing the gun out of Billy Clanton's hand. But basically, they disarm Billy. No one really gets shot or killed. Billy doesn't get killed, but it's just a big tense scene of maybe, my kid's gonna die or something like that. And so, again, that might be the pushing point for, because Ma's already kind of ready to leave, I think, but that's kind of the tense scene of Ma, right after this, giving I can't even, fun fact, I can hear the Irish accent fine, but when you do long, that scene right after that when Ma's really, really upset, I couldn't even really understand what she was saying. The resonance of the consonants was just hard to follow at that point. But so they're ready to leave. Pop is dead. Billy Clanton, basically Ma and Pa, they're not going to stop coming for us now. And so it's kind of getting towards the end of the movie. Again, might have missed several scenes, but again, it's just family life. There's just, and it's wholesome. I like it. I really like the family dynamic throughout here. But they basically, one more scene where Buddy gives a goodbye gift to Catherine, and that's the scene where Paul says, any Catholic or anyone's kind and nice is allowed in our house. And they all get on a train. They're all sitting there, and Ma, the Pop is dead. The grandma, she's not going with them to London, England. And, go, go, go. You just get a close up on her face. And you see them on the train, and then they ride off, clearly going to go live in London and have the 2 toilets inside and start in a new place. So that's really the end of the movie. I'll give you my rating now. I will give it an A-. I thought it was thoroughly entertaining. Obviously, the novelty for me is, again, just the real-life story. And so the family dynamic to me, I thought was fantastic. I thought they did a good job with the mom and dad fighting over money, but still sticking with each other, still really having each other's backs. All of the relationships of all of the family were super enjoyable to me, so I thought it was a very wholesome family flick with some good history and drama. Major themes and takeaways. Themes were pretty straightforward. Obviously, Protestant Reformation, not the actual Reformation, but the Protestant sect of Christianity versus the Catholic sect of Christianity. Staying or leaving, which I'm sure is again not. I'm sure people today's days and age were so connected with technology and transportation that leaving or staying in your hometown, even with violence, I'm sure was a very big decision for a lot of people and a lot of different immigrations and migrations and type of deal. So I thought they did a good job of that. The vernacular. We can do some Irish vernacular. If you would ever say the words a little bit, tiny, small, a bit, you're going to say wee, like a wee lad. Right? I've also seen Wayne recently from ScottishPeopleTwitter.reddit.com. So wee Wayne, but just a wee lad. They use that all the time. They use an affirmation like yes, just like Chibs from Sons of Anarchy. But how would I spell A? I'm not asking anyone how to spell anything. I think it's A-I, like j'ai, like I have en français. Mais, I think that's kind of where it's coming from, and that's if you said, Brad, how to spell it correctly, I would say A. It's like an affirmation like yes. So I say that a lot. I already went over the 2 taglines I have in the movie, but the wee lad, that really cracks me up. Lads and lassies. Lad, I don't think I've heard that in the movie, but lad is a male, lassie is female. historically it was not obvious to me why that would be. Again, Lad, clearly female, but Lassie doesn't really like necessarily strike me as female. Or Lad strikes me as male, Lassie didn't strike me as female initially. Definitely got it to be intuitive now, but just historical fact, I don't know. So those are really the major themes and takeaways. And again, said overall A-. Thoroughly enjoyed the movie, and I hope you go see Belfast.